Good evening peeps, my name is Scripps and welcome back to another art video. In this video we're touching on a topic that we haven't really touched on before because it's about a game that we've never really had on the art part of my channel before. It's about Just Shapes and Beats. That's right, I actually wanted to do more with the Just Shapes and Beats series other than just play it, because I know that I just play a lot of games and then just leave them off as like mini gaming series, but I wanted to include this in my art videos as well, kind of the same way that I've done with, say, Hollow Knight, for example. But not only am I welcoming them to the art side of my channel, but I'm also giving them an honorary welcome by doing something very weird and actually sort of a challenge that I don't remember if I've ever done this before. I think I might have, but I'm not completely sure. Some of you guys who are veterans on the channel can update me on that one. But I'm gonna turn the character designs, the very minimalistic character designs, mind you, from Just Shapes and Beats into humans. I'm gonna humanize them, and more specifically, I'm gonna turn them into cute girls, because I don't know, that's just apparently my art style now is girls. A lot of people have commented on the fact that I don't draw dudes a lot, and I don't really have any argument against why. I don't know, I guess I've just gotten so used to drawing females that that's just what I do now. But putting art style and gender aside, then this actually went really freaking well. I don't know if it was actually the whole minimalism part of Just Shapes and Beats that just made all the little very characteristic things about them stand out so much and make them very easy to turn into more detailed characters such as humans. I don't know what it was, but this just all synergized very well, like the ideas I had in my head. And actually I think it was a lot to do with shape language, because shape language is obviously very easy to see when your characters are shapes. I mean, we got the sad cube that I don't even think has any other name than the sad cube. I think there might be one. I don't know, you guys can comment down below if you know a specific name for that one. I know that the boss enemy is referred to as Blixer, so I'm gonna keep referring to it as that, even though it doesn't say anywhere that it's official and that in the wiki it actually just says it refers to as the boss. But I am not daring enough to question the decisions of the fandom, so I'm just gonna go with it. But yeah, they all had very simple designs in the game and things that made them stand out as characters a lot, so yeah, that was very easy to put into these detailed characters, as I already said. So the three characters that I will be doing is, despite the fact that I drew like a bunch of characters to begin with, I guess that was just kind of like draw down each one to see if I got any ideas that popped into my head as of how I would transform them into a human or something. But I ended up picking three different characters that I would draw for this challenge, and that would be number one, the Sad Cube, because I think that's like my favorite character and it's the one that has the most actual character showing through, with the close to me level. Yeah, I think that, yeah, close to me level, like that level was so good, and it was actually kind of emotional. Just due to this small little story arc that was going on with this very sad cube. I felt very bad for it, so I decided to draw that one because he's my little buddy. The other two guys are enemies though. The second one turned out to be my absolute favorite when it actually came to this drawing style, and that would be Blixer. Blixer turned out really well in this drawing, in my opinion. There's just a lot of ideas that popped into my head and it just all worked out so well. And then afterwards I decided to draw another boss, which also turned out okay, but because of some decisions I made that I'll explain later on, then it didn't turn out quite as well. But that was Barracuda, one that I didn't give anywhere near enough credit in the main game. I just played through the level and kind of forgot about it. I didn't even play it on hardcore, even though I know that, even though I now know that it's like a lot of people's favorite boss and that they draw a lot of freaking fanfiction of these different characters. There's a huge fandom for this community, by the way, or there's a huge fandom for this game that I didn't even know of. I was looking up references to draw, like references, or maybe there were even people who drawn like fan art, but there were people who'd already kind of done what I'm doing now. They kind of made like human versions of these different characters, and it's cool to see so many people, and especially artistic people, gather around a rhythm game, something that I totally didn't expect. But hey, it's cool, and I condone it in every way. If you got any ideas for a cool character for the Just Shapes and Beats series, you know, feel free, go out and draw it, and you might even be able to just comment and share it with me. Even though I don't really know how you would do that, but that would still be awesome if you managed to do that somehow. But anyways, getting back to the drawings, then I will go through them kind of chronologically because I don't have too much time in these speed paint videos. But I will start off by talking about the Sad Cube because I do believe that was the one I drew first. I really like the way that I posed this character. I was kind of worried that I might actually be doing it in a weirdly sexual way, or like not doing it in a sexual way, but that I might be drawing like a sexual pose for her. That wasn't really intentional, but basically she was just supposed to hold her hands on her skirt, but it kind of looked like she was holding down her skirt. in a weird like Monroe-esque picture fashion. That wasn't intentional, it was just supposed to like have their hands in their lap, and that was the idea of that pose basically. But I really do like the little details that I added in this one, such as the squarey pattern on her very like childish dress that she wore. I really like how that looked, and also the fact that she might be a little teensy tiny bit plus size. I wanted to make her a little more plus size, make her a little bigger, a little chubbier, since she is more of that square design, but I think she kept up being just somewhat normal. If I'm looking at the drawing right now, yeah, she turned out to be somewhat normal, so I mean, that's fine. But could have been something that I just exaggerated a little bit to play around with it more. I did, however, like what I did with the hair. I also wish that I went a little bit more like bold with that in fashion, but I just wanted to make her hair very squarish. Obviously I gave her the bangs, but then I also wanted her hair to kind of like actually disintegrate into these tinier pixels, which isn't that obvious once I actually get everything colored and everything. It just sort of looks like it's some squares dangling from my hair or something. So I could have been a little more bold with that, just a little more, if I had to self-criticize, a little more bold with this design. But I liked the pose, I liked how it turned out in the end, and actually after finishing this first drawing, I had a feeling that, you know, it was a good day. I was doing pretty good with anatomy today, and that, you know, I could safely continue with the other drawings. Because sometimes that's how it is when you're starting to draw, you know, when you're getting to learn to draw. You have bad anatomy days and you have good anatomy days, and then it's always a relief when it's like, you know, it's a good day. But of course I had to turn her into Neko Girl. They did it first, okay? That's not me freaking anime weebifying her. They turned the freaking triangles into cat ears on the cube, so I just stuck with the design. You could actually say that I was more truthful to the original design. So please don't comment #scripts is a weeb in the comments. I would hate that. Thank you very much. But anyways, skipping and hopping right along to the next drawing, which actually turned out to be my personal favorite. I mean, we can all have different opinions, of course, and of course you can like the sad cube a lot. I mean, I get that. I liked it a lot at first, but this one turned out a little better. But ironically, I actually had a lot of issues drawing this one to begin with. I kind of forgot my art style for the legs because it's been some freaking time since I've drawn legs on my characters. But basically, my usual art style for like legs is those thick Scott Pilgrim legs, because I like Scott Pilgrim a lot. So in case you're curious where I got some of my art style from, it's Scott Pilgrim, baby. But yeah, I usually draw these thick legs, so I'm not really used to drawing actual leg anatomy. Maybe that's something I should practice. But it still turned out great once I actually got it all fixed. I was a little worried how I should do the hair and how I should do the crown and everything. But I got this amazing idea to actually take Blixer's big, like, spiky arms and then turn it into her hair. And then actually make her kind of look like Jinx from League of Legends, because she has these, like, two gigantic in length, like, what do you call them, rat tails. But yeah, I basically just disintegrated her hair into those spiky balls that Blixer actually uses to fight with. So that one ended up staying really truthful to the design, and it ended up working out really well. I wish I drew those spiky balls a little better, but you know, creating those and just creating something as perfectly symmetrical as a circle with spikes on it, that's a little difficult for anyone. So you know, I kind of cut myself some slack with that. But I still think the design turned out great. If there was any last decisions that I would have changed, then I would have given her a guitar instead of a bat, because you know, the actual Blixer actually uses a guitar at one point in the game, and we don't really see any bat. But I thought this would complete the whole radical girl design, and I really like how she turned out. Tell me in the comments whether or not if you think that this design turned out well as well. Now, after sharing my pride and joy with everyone, then we're moving on to the more, you know, a little more bittersweet at least. I'm just kidding, it's not too bad. The design actually turned out kind of alright. This is the design for Barracuda, and it turned out pretty good, but there were still some last minute decisions and some last minute, like, oh crap moments that sort of ended up messing up this design a little bit. First of all, the fact that I wanted and was dedicated to the fact that I was gonna draw this one completely stiff from the front. And the reason that I did this was actually because I had this realization mid-drawing session that I was like, oh crap, I've gotten too used to the 45-degree angle. I need to draw more people from straight ahead. And I completely forgot about the fact that this is very weird and unnatural, unless you kind of like creating like a turnaround or something of a character. It's not really that natural for a person to just be standing directly and stiff and pointing or looking at the camera. But despite the awkward pose, then the design actually still turned out to be quite alright. And since Blixer and Barracuda actually both have the exact same color scheme, they're both this kind of pinkish red, then I decided to twist it up a little bit and give Blixer that signature black, like black as her skin color because most of Blixer is actually black, and give Barracuda more of a pinkish look because pretty much all of Barracuda's body is pink. But then I contrasted all of that with some very black hair and black clothing and all that, and I tried to make the Barracuda design really go through. I actually wanted to get the triangle arms in some way, like the triangle tentacles, but the best that I could get out of it while still kind of sticking to the human-like design, without turning her arms into like complete triangles, was giving her these kind of triangular pads. Although I know they're kind of squarish, but they look like triangles going up into each other on her arms, and that's like the kind of best substitute for that I could get. Other than that, then I also included a bunch of other triangles in her design. I even made her skirt on purpose into kind of like the pyramid that Barracuda turns into during the boss battle. So I thought that was kind of cool, although the very like flat straight skirt might look a little weird. I should also mention that this design has been hugely inspired also by the character of Bill Cipher. We don't have a lot of character of Barracuda because it's just kind of like this little boss and it's actually just a triangle. But Bill Cipher, the character from Gravity Falls, is actually the first character or the first thing that came to mind once I saw Barracuda's boss design, so that's why I kind of decided to also give her this cane, this hat, and give her this more wacky look, or more like wacky circus instructor look in comparison to the other two. But I still ended up liking her design almost as much as the other two, and you know, I still think that this was a pretty successful drawing session, and I'm pretty happy with how this challenge turned out. I think it turned out really well actually. All of these characters, or just the way that the shape language transitioned and could be used like so fluently in these designs, I think worked really well, especially for Blixer and the Cube Girl. But anyways, enough of my freaking nonsense ramblings. I want to hear you guys' opinions. What do you think, or which one do you think turned out the best? Which design did you like the most personally? Which one did you think translated best from the original game into this kind of humanized art style? I want to hear you guys' thoughts on it, and I want to hear you guys' opinions. That's kind of what this whole thing's about, and I really like the interactive process between me drawing and then hearing you guys' critiques and different ideas about it. Maybe we could even come up with some names for these characters now, huh? And we don't even have to base off of Blixer, Sad Cube Girl, and Barracuda, you know, just the name of the song for our level. Could we come up with some more creative names, maybe? Who knows? I leave that up to you guys. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and thank you all so much for helping me improve by giving me the critique that I need, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.